In this video, we will shed light on two political figures, Ursula von der Leyen and Emmanuel Macron. After conducting thorough research and analysis, we're ready to take you on a journey from Brussels to Paris, where we'll uncover their stories, motivations, and impact on the global stage. Make sure you stay till the end to discover what these power players have planned that could change the world as we see it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Ursula Gertrude von der Leyen was born in Brussels, Belgium in 1958, where she spent her early years before her family moved to Germany when she was 13. Her father, Ernst Albright, was deeply involved in European civil service and later served as Prime Minister of Lower Saxony for 16 years. Her mother, Heidi Adele Strohmeyer, was a journalist, but later stayed home, deciding to focus on raising her 7 children. Ursula was raised speaking German and French and continued her education by graduating from the London School of Economics in 1978. Later, in 1987, she obtained her medical degree from Hanover Medical School, later specializing in gynecology. Alongside her medical practice, she also dedicated herself to teaching at the Higher School of Medicine while pursuing a master's degree in public health. Marriage brought Ursula and her husband, Heiko von der Leyen, to the United States for 4 years in the 1990s before they returned to Germany. Back home, Ursula got into local politics in the Hanover region, gradually making a name for herself. Ursula started her political journey quite later in life when she was 45 and landed a spot in the Lower Saxony Parliament. Angela Merkel, seeing her potential, quickly put her in charge of the Ministry of Family. Here, Ursula made some big moves, like adding more kindergartens and pushing for dads to get paid leave, which got people talking all over. In 2009, Ursula switched gears and became the Minister of Labor. She kept shaking things up, giving shelter to a Syrian refugee and making it easier for foreigners to find jobs in Germany. Plus, she fought for more women to get seats at the big business tables, aiming for fairness. In November 2010, Ursula won an election with 85% of the votes to become one of 4 deputies of CDU chairwoman Merkel. She worked with Volker Bouffier, Norbert Röttgen, and Annette Schavan. 2 years later, in 2012, she got re-elected with 69% of the votes as one of Merkel's deputies in the CDU, now working with Bouffier, Julia Klöckner, Armin Laschet, and Thomas Strobel. Then in 2013, she made history as the first woman to lead the German Ministry of Defense. It was a big boost for the Defense Ministry, which had been going through some tough times. Ursula stood by Merkel's side from the beginning, the only minister who stuck around since Merkel took charge in 2005. Ursula's influence reached beyond Germany when she joined the World Economic Forum's Board of Trustees in August 2016. In September 2016, she led the EPP Defense Ministers meeting, a gathering of defense ministers from the European People's Party before EU Council meetings. Interestingly, the former British Defense Secretary Michael Fallon praised Ursula's strong presence in the NATO community, calling her the doyenne of NATO ministers for over 5 years. But back home, Ursula faced setbacks for how she led, leaning heavily on outside advisors and not fully fixing military readiness issues. Despite the bumps, she didn't back down from boosting Germany's military budget, showing she was serious about keeping the country safe. She also wanted to strengthen the army's technical skills to deal with modern threats. And she wasn't just about the men, she wanted more ladies to join the military ranks, showing she believed in giving everyone a shot. Now, let's move on to July 2, 2019. Ursula von der Leyen was proposed by the European Council for the role of President of the European Commission. The European Parliament approved her on July 16th. She's the first woman to hold this position and the first German since the Commission's first president, Walter Hallstein. After her nomination, Ursula received the necessary resources in Brussels to help with her new role. To focus on her new responsibilities, she resigned from her seat in the German Bundestag on July 31st, 2019. However, things have not always been smooth for this political leader. She has faced sexism in her career, but despite that, Ursula has stayed true to herself. People sometimes called her supermom because she has 7 kids, but then criticized her for not being home enough. Just imagine the hypocrisy. Unfortunately, Ursula has been criticized many times as well. In March 2020, her commission declined to impose border controls around Italy during the COVID-19 pandemic. Some European politicians disagreed with this decision. While some EU countries closed their borders, Ursula stressed that general travel bans weren't the most effective, according to the World Health Organization. In September 2021, she faced criticism over tensions between France, the US, and Australia regarding a defense pact. Australia canceled a submarine deal with France, which Ursula called unacceptable. The EU demanded an apology from Australia. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Pfizer made a big vaccine deal worth 35 billion euros, but later concerns rose when many doses, worth about 4 billion euros, were thrown away. Then in April 2021, it came out that Ursula had talked with Pfizer's CEO about the deal. People criticized her for not saying this earlier and saying the messages were gone. Although she was part of the talks at first, she later said she wasn't officially involved. This caused a stir called Pfizergate, leading to an investigation in 2024 due to complaints about meddling, corruption, and conflicts of interest. Brace yourselves because there's more. On July 18, 2022, Ursula praised Azerbaijan for its energy partnership amid the Russian-Ukraine conflict. She signed a deal to boost gas supplies, but controversy arose when Azerbaijan attacked Armenia months later, with soldiers accused of serious human rights violations. Critics, including EU Parliament members like Martin Sonneborn, argued that praising Azerbaijan while condemning other dictators was inconsistent. Even though she received a lot of criticism and hate, Ursula kept on going. She pushed for blocking child pornography online by urging service providers to implement it using a list maintained by Germany's Federal Criminal Police Office. Despite opposition, she led the Child Advancement Act, allocating 4.3 billion euros to establish childcare facilities. She also campaigned for a legal quota for female representation on corporate boards, aiming for at least 20% women by 2018 and 40% by 2023. Additionally, she emphasizes combating climate change and advocating for green regulations and initiatives as part of her agenda. In March 2024, Ursula was chosen again as the EPP's pick for the European Commission presidency. Opinion polls are sure she'll be re-elected. Until then, let's see what destiny has in store for her. Now let's move our focus towards France's current president, Emmanuel Macron. Emmanuel Jean-Michel Frédéric Macron was born on December 21, 1977, in Amiens. His parents, Françoise and Jean-Michel Macron, had him and two other children, Laurent and Estelle. Unfortunately, their first child was stillborn. He attended Lycée La Providence in Amiens before finishing his schooling at Lycée Henri IV in Paris. During this time, when Macron was just 15 years old, he was seduced by his drama teacher, Brigitte, who was 40 back then. This relationship between an older woman and an adolescent boy is illegal and comes under child abuse. However, Macron loved Brigitte so much that he later married her in 2007. Macron wanted to join the École Normale Supérieure, but was rejected twice. He later pursued philosophy at the University of Paris Ouest Nanterre La Défense, where he earned a master's degree. During his studies, he assisted philosopher Paul Ricoeur and joined the editorial board of a literary magazine called Esprit. Since he was focused on his studies, Macron didn't serve in the military, as it was compulsory for those born in December 1977. He continued his education by obtaining a master's degree in public affairs from Sciences Po and training at the École Nationale Administration, graduating in 2004 after internships at the French Embassy in Nigeria and the Prefecture of Oise. After graduating, Macron joined the Inspection Générale des Finances (IGF) as an inspector, where he was mentored by Jean-Pierre Jouyet. During this time, he also gave summer lectures at a prep school for the ENA entrance exam. In 2008, he made a significant career shift, leaving his government job to become an investment banker at Rothschild & C Bank, following an offer by François Henrot. At Rothschild, Macron played key roles in various deals, including the acquisition of Cofidis by Credit Mutuel Nord Europe and Nestlé's acquisition of Pfizer's infant nutrition division. His work on these projects earned him significant wealth, with reports indicating earnings of nearly 3 million euros between 2009 and 2013. What a massive income! In 2012, Macron departed from Rothschild to pursue other opportunities. His experience as an investment banker greatly influenced his future career trajectory. Shortly after President François Hollande was elected in May 2012, Macron was appointed Élysée Deputy Secretary General on May 15, 2012, becoming one of Hollande's top advisors. Later in August 2014, he took on the role of Minister of Economics, Industry, and Digital Affairs in the second Valls government. During his tenure, he led several changes to support businesses throughout the country. However, in August 2016, Macron left his ministerial job to start his campaign for the 2017 presidential elections. Even though he was once part of the Socialist Party from 2006 to 2009, he ran for president with a new group called En Marche, a centrist and pro-European political movement he began in April 2016. With some help from issues with other candidates, Macron became the main candidate in the first round of voting. He won the presidency on May 7, 2017, with 66.1% of the vote in the second round, beating Marine Le Pen of the National Front. At only 39 years old, he became the youngest president in French history. In the next legislative election in June 2017, Macron's party, now called La République En Marche, won the most seats in the National Assembly. He picked Édouard Philippe as prime minister, who later left in 2020. Macron then chose Jean Castex to replace him. After winning the 2022 presidential election and defeating Le Pen once more, Macron secured a second term. This marked a historic moment as he became the first French president re-elected since Jacques Chirac defeated Jean-Marie Le Pen in 2002. However, in the subsequent 2022 legislative election, his centrist coalition faced a setback. They lost their absolute majority, leading to a hung parliament. This turn of events resulted in France's first minority government since the fall of the Bérégovoy government in 1993. Despite this challenge, Macron pressed forward. His current prime minister, Gabriel Attal, assumed office in January 2024. Notably, Attal holds the distinction of being the youngest head of government in French history. Additionally, his appointment marks a significant milestone as he is the first openly gay man to hold this position. Throughout his time as president, Macron has made many changes to things like labor laws, taxes, and pensions, and he's been pushing for more renewable energy. But some people have called him the president of the rich, and there have been lots of protests against his changes. The biggest ones were the Yellow Vest protests and the strikes against his plans to change pensions from 2018 to 2020. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, Macron took charge of France's response and the vaccination program starting in 2020. Under Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne's leadership, the government introduced a law in 2023 to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64. This move caused a lot of arguments and led to strikes and violent protests in many parts of the country. In terms of dealing with other countries, Macron wanted to make changes in the European Union, EU, and he made deals with Italy and Germany. During the trade war between China and the United States, Macron managed to make deals worth 42 billion euros with China. He also had some disagreements with Australia and the United States over a security pact called AUKUS. Keeping France safe was also a big focus for Macron. He continued to support operations against the Islamic State and joined other countries in condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine, standing up for Ukraine's independence. In recent years, Macron has been pushing for some big changes in France. He set out a plan called France Relance to help the country recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. This plan involves spending a lot of money, around 100 billion euros, with help from the EU. Macron wants to use this money to boost different parts of the economy, like businesses, infrastructure, and training. One of Macron's main goals is to make France a leader in eco-friendly practices. He's aiming for France to be carbon neutral by 2050. To get there, he's putting aside 30 billion euros to speed up the switch to green energy. This includes things like making buildings more eco-friendly, reducing pollution from industries, and promoting cleaner ways to travel and farm. Macron also wants to focus on renewable energy sources like hydrogen and improve transportation options, especially for things like bikes and public transport. He's also planning to make trains better and more accessible, especially in areas where people don't have many travel options. Moreover, he plans to make France more competitive in the global market. He's looking at ways to modernize factories, invest in new technologies, and make it easier for businesses to operate. He's also planning to lower taxes for companies to encourage them to stay and grow in France. Lastly, Macron knows that having a skilled workforce is crucial for the future. He's investing heavily in education and training, especially for young people who are just starting out in the job market. He wants to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to learn new skills and find good jobs. Even though Macron is focusing mainly on making France better, he's also getting tough about the Ukraine war. First, he tried peace talks, but now he's thinking about sending troops to fight Russia. This made Putin and Ukraine's friends unhappy. This is because Ukraine is struggling with a small army and not enough weapons. Macron worries that Russia might attack other places too. He's also worried about Russia's sneaky tactics like cyber attacks and wants Europe to stand on its own and help Ukraine, especially if the US changes its mind. Ursula von der Leyen and Emmanuel Macron have shown remarkable leadership in their roles. Ursula as the first female president of the European Commission and Macron as the transformative leader of France. Their journeys teach us about resilience and vision in leadership. What lessons can you draw from their leadership styles and experiences to inspire your paths forward? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you gained some valuable information from this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.